Welcome back everybody. My name is Rizbot the Blade, your personal mining guru, and today we're gonna finally reveal you all the data what you need to know what is concerned mining laser heads. So let's dive in. First of all, we need to mention Red Monster Gaming. He's also a streamer and YouTuber, and all this data what you're gonna see here we are using from his site. That's the biggest collection of mining data you can get, and it's always fresh, updated. I'm gonna put his link in the description so you guys can also check it out and download the pictures if you want. All this data that you're gonna see here I rearranged a little bit, so I'm gonna show you exactly what is the most important to least important more easily, right? And it's much more visible like that. So let's get straight to the point. You have two mining ships currently in the game, which is Prospector and the Mole. Prospector has everything size 1 and Mole has everything size 2. For each mining ship we have 6 different lasers, right? Normally size 1 and size 2. From all these lasers it's basically 3 which is more important one, and then 3 which are maybe as a support lasers or lasers which are not so important. But first we're gonna explain all the parameters before we're gonna name the lasers. First thing what you can see here, it says optimal range. Optimal range is one of the also most important things for mining, because it's exactly determined where your ship needs to be positioned from the rock when you're mining it. If you're just few meters away from that actual position where you need to be, your power output is not gonna be the same. So here on this picture I'm showing you now what that means. Here we have two pictures put next to each other from the two different screenshots, and the left side is showing Helix laser, which perfect range is exactly 30 meters from the rock, and on the right side is Hofstede laser, which perfect range from the rock is 60 meters. And this is both size 2 from Mole mining ship. So if we wanna say what that exactly means to be on optimal range, it means that you need to be exactly where it says optimal with letters optimal. This orange or reddish letters, and it's a small line next to these letters, and then it shows your exact meters. So that means to be optimal, because optimal is not all that range which is green or orange in that top left bar. This is just operational range of your laser, but all that is not optimal just because it's green. And normally you also have the maximum range, which is the furthest distance where you can be with your laser from the rock, and if you go above that distance your laser is gonna be cut off, like with scissors, so it cannot reach anymore the rock, and then basically you're not doing anything to the rock anymore, not even in the terms of collecting or the breaking the rock. And now we are back in this data picture from before, and here you can see normally the maximum range. Next thing what we need to explain is minimum and maximum power of the laser. Every laser has different starting minimal power, which is never 0. And the best lasers have the lowest output power, which is 10% of actual power, and the highest minimum power is around 30%. So what that means is that you're never gonna be able to put your power on exactly 0%, but it's always going to be between 10% and 30%. And I'm showing you here now in this back two pictures from before, where you can see the laser intensity is 10% on Hofstede, and it's also on 30% on Helix laser. And I didn't push the power up to put on that numbers. This is original starting point of these lasers, which you cannot lower than this. What is concerning the maximum power output, this is just self-explanatory, you know. It's the higher the number it is, the bigger rocks you can crack with this laser. And now we're gonna go to the extraction power. So extraction power, it's like a last thing from all these numbers because it's not so much important. You know, you can actually create with all the modules and some of the lasers extremely fast extraction power, but for extracting only one rock or two or maybe even three, this is not necessary thing, because you're not gonna speed up your runs so abnormal faster to actually need much faster extraction. And here on the end we have a module slots. Module slot numbers are representing how many modules you can put on each laser, which can be from 0 to 3 maximum. And for size 1 lasers, which are for Prospector, it's from 0 to 2 maximum, and for Mole, which is size 2 lasers, it's from 1 to 3 maximum. Now we're gonna explain against what you need to fight when you're breaking a rock. First thing is resistance, then we have instability, and then we have optimal charge window size. Two more things which are not so important is optimal charge rate speed and inert materials filtering. Resistance, if it's too large in the rock which you are mining, it's not gonna let your charge bar to go up, even if you have very high power laser on your ship, and even if you put some modules which gonna increase the power. You actually need to put modules to reduce the resistance to be able to break it, not just increase the power. A lot of players actually think that power output and resistance is the same thing, and it's actually not, so keep that in mind. The biggest problem in the mining is now actually instability. It's actually like a disease which you need to fight against. How instability works now is that when you're mining and your instability is very high, it's gonna speed up your charge bar level too fast into red area up in the bar. Because of that, you're always supposed to rise this bar as slowest as possible to have your mining secure and stable. Because if you rush it to push it faster up, to be faster done with cracking the rock or the piece of the rock, you're gonna make the bar going much faster up, which sometimes can be instantly, and it's gonna jump in the full red from which it cannot recover fast enough, and this is gonna cause you a damage, or in the worst case it can kill you. And now we're gonna talk about optimal charge window size. Optimal charge window size is that part of the bar where when your charge level is going up and it enters it, it's gonna filling it up from the right to the left side, and when it gets to the full left side, then rock or piece of the rock which you're mining, it's gonna crack. The bigger that piece of the bar is, much harder you're gonna be able to make a mistake to push the bar above this green area to go into red. And even if that mistake happens, then because the bar is much more wider, or if you wanna say taller, charge bar is gonna return quicker into green area, and you can still save that rock or that piece which you're mining. In comparison to optimal charge window, optimal charge rate is just the speed in which, when the charge bar is entering the green optimal window, it's gonna go fast to the left to break the rock. This thing is nice to have, but it's not necessary thing, and it's better that you're not wasting a module slot to put some module on which is gonna make it faster. Last thing is inert materials filtering. as you can see, already all lasers have already from 30 to 40% of inert materials filtering, which is great number. And if you really want it, you can put more modules on for filtering even more, but now in the game we don't get so much anymore of inert materials like we did before. You know, we get like more tier 2 materials and the mostly tier 3, and tier 3 are also like basically worthless, almost like inert materials. But the only thing what is actually filtering always out, it's strictly inert and nothing else. So that's why you're not supposed to also, you know, waste slot for that. Best would be just to put, you know, in your backpack or in the local inventory in the ship some, you know, module for filtering inert materials, and then manually put it on the laser, but not to set it up as a default module on the laser head. Let's talk about now about mining laser heads. We have 3 laser heads, which is like, you know, main meta heads, and we have 3 mining heads, which could be, if you want to say, like a support laser head. So 3 main one are Helix, Hofstede and Arbor. It's not Impact and Klein or the Lancet. And the reason for that is because first, Helix is giving the huge resistance drop and it has the biggest power output. Then Hofstede has also resistance drop, the same one, but it has the huge optimal charge window. And Arbor have huge instability drop. So if you're mining with mole, that would be your best choice to have these 3 lasers on your mole, especially if you're mining with 3 people together, because the benefits to combine all these 3 lasers in a mix, it's huge in each direction. Impact laser, it's not a bad laser, but I put it also as a support lasers because he has one more slot for the module than, for example, Hofstede, but it has the same power output. And in comparison to Hofstede, Impact has almost more than a double minimum power output. That's why this laser is not good for the second breaks, when you need to break again, you know, smaller pieces. And normally for the huge rocks you're supposed to use Helix on the mole and not Impact. But Impact has something else, and this is big speed for collecting. So this laser has the maximum extraction power speed, the highest from all the lasers, and because of have 3 slots for modules, you can still put a lots of modules, which is gonna increase even more the speed of collecting the ore. This is not necessary normally, but in the future for some huge multi-ship mining, this laser is supposed to be equipped on the ship, which is gonna strictly just collect stuff, and they're just gonna do that and nothing else. What is concerned Klein laser, this laser, yeah, it has a huge, the biggest minus 45% resistance, but it has something else bad, and this is instability. And instability, like we said, it's the biggest thing what we need to fight against. So just because of that, I never put this laser on my ships. It has actually a little bit bigger power than Hofstede, but his minimum starting power is just a little bit smaller than the Impact, which is not good, and also he has only 1 slot for modules, which is terrible. And now we are on our last laser, which was our biggest friend in the past, but unfortunately now he stepped on the last place as a good laser, because he doesn't have any resistance drop and it has smallest optimal charge window, where in the past he was having the biggest. So yeah, this is all the lasers. What I was explaining was mostly for mole, but what is concerning Prospector, you really should learn to mine with strictly only Helix laser. and I'm gonna start to make videos with Prospector mining, how to do that properly and safe and efficiently. Unfortunately with Prospector you can use just one laser normally because it has one mining arm, it's not 3 like in Mole, and because of that you need to always go with the highest power output laser that you can. Mining with Helix on Prospector, it's gonna give you possibility to crack rocks till around 30 tons, which is huge for that ship. But this is, you know, risky mining. You need to have much more patience for that, and it's much more work to do. But if you crack bigger rocks, you don't need to crack a lot of them, so it's, you know, less rocks, it's faster runs. This is all what is concerned laser mining heads, and now still we can show you on this right side of this chart in front of us availability by location. And what that means is where you can buy all the lasers in Stanton system, you know, in all the stations and in all places on planets where you have stores. As you can see, all this availability is not on one spot, and this is intentionally made like that, so you're gonna explore, you know, the whole Stanton system. In our next video we're gonna talk about mining modules and mining gadgets which you're supposed to put on the rocks. If you have much more questions and if something is not clear, you can always find you on my stream, basically streaming every day, and then we can talk directly and I can get more deep into mining if somebody needs more information. This is all for this video, guys, and I hope this all information is gonna help you. I know it's a lot of information, but you need to learn all that to be successful. So guys, if you like all this what I'm sharing with you, please subscribe, like, and what is most important, share all this information with other people. See you next time. Bye bye.